America's great again, right?
Yes, it seems that way. The market seems strong. Everything's good.
Yeah, you pay almost no more taxes in this country. It's like tax paradise 2.0, huh?
Absolutely. You know what? I just don't like the IRS.
Oh, you don't like the IRS? I got news for you. You know the IRS in German, Finanzamt? Nobody likes it, not even in Germany.
Nobody likes paying taxes. At least you guys probably get a little more for the taxes you pay than we get, right? We have to pay taxes and also pay an astronomical amount of money for health insurance.
Well, not only health insurance, and when I see your trains over here in the subways and the tunnels, it feels like it's 19, you know.
College,
and
all
school,
that stuff.
Right. But America will be great again. You know, you got the biggest tax reform in 30 years. What's your take?
You know what? I don't. My gut is, from the way the market is acting, I think there's stuff in there we don't even know about. I don't think anybody really knows what's in there. It seems that this corporate tax, you know, from 33% to 21%, obviously has a huge impact, more than we can even imagine. Because if that's what's fueling this market, then the business model of the guys who are buying this valuation must think there's some money in it, right? These are real numbers.
Ja, man darf nicht vergessen, dass also mit einem Steuersatz von 21%, die Industriestaaten in dieser Welt haben einen Steuersatz von 22% im Durchschnitt, aber Amerika hatte bisher 35%. That's a huge reduction. And there are certain industries that benefit more than others. I think technology already pays a very low tax rate. Banks, industrials, transport, they're all going to be the winners.
It seems to me that we've been running on zero interest rate. Fed rate's been so low for so long. Right now, still with all of this, market's up 5,000 points, and the interest rate's still only 1.5%. So I think that's kind of free money in the bigger picture. Right? If you're borrowing money at such a low rate and you're putting it in a market that's going up 1,000 points a month, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
You know,
it's a win-win, Charlie.
It's a win-win situation.
Jawohl,
ja, alles wunderbar. Ja. I mean, so if you look at this year, I mean, you really had everything going for the market, right? You had earnings growth, not only in the States, but globally. Economic growth synchronized globally. Zero interest rates. Still huge stimulus from the central banks. And now a tax reform on top of everything. I mean, it was a fantastic year.
Correct. And you had potential for deep anxiety from North Korea and American administration, which, to be perfectly honest, is a little bit crazy, is a bit of a wild card.
A little bit cuckoo.
It's just a wild card. Let's go there. We're not taking political sides here. But, you know, and Brexit and hurricanes and tornadoes and fire and brimstone and things of biblical proportion. There was potential to dislocate this rally,
and it didn't happen.
And it never happened. On a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, it never happened.
Also wir hatten Schocks, die nicht mehr schockiert. Ne?
Shocks.
Yeah. Exactly. But you say shocks in English too, no?
We do.
We do. Okay, thank you. Just 25 years America. I must have learned something. But so let's look at this whole. You know, it's interesting to see that the yield curve is actually not flattening. Now it's widening. We had the biggest increase in the yield curve in almost 10 years in the last 3 days. So that really tells you the bond market is thinking we're going to get higher economic growth next year.
Yeah, you know what? That's a little out of my wheelhouse. I am by no means an economist. I'm more interested in the fact that whoever is buying this market is seeing value in it at prices which seem astronomical. Whether it's the tech sector and the Amazons at 1,000, the Facebook and Apples at huge triple-digit numbers, and the Boeings and the Cat tractors and the Home Depots and things where, so you're talking infrastructure and you're talking huge economic growth. It appears, if they're paying these numbers. So there's something going on here we don't really know about. It feels like, right?
Well, you can only hope then that the reality comes to fruition. I mean, dass sich das tatsächlich alles auszahlt, right?
Are we chasing a number? Or are we seeing value? It seems to me when you have something as prolonged as a year rally, then these numbers, you know, and we've seen no sign of a bubble in any way in this valuation, then obviously there's some underlying foundation of value here. People are seeing value. Is there nowhere else to invest in the world than here with some sense of security? It feels that way. Or is it just huge economic growth in the United States? Yeah. Is there some dream that we're going to have low interest rates for a while and low unemployment and huge economic growth? The market's telling us that that's what people see.
I mean, but it's very hard also to make out negative points, right? I mean, there seems to be no stress in the financial market, right? There seems to be earnings growth, so everything looks pretty amazing at the moment. So the question to me is, now that the tax reform is done, right? We celebrated it, the market went up. Right. What is going to be the next thing that can actually push this market higher?
You know what, you know, look, this was one agenda that took a year to finish, and the market has been rallying on the dream that it will be done. There's still a lot left to do. We've got healthcare, we've got rebuilding infrastructure, and we've got all the other things that are kind of questionable agenda of this new administration, like building a wall, like problems with Canada, you know, like things with Mexico. So where do all those things go? You know, at some point, the door will close on tax reform. We're going to have to get down to business. Is the Russian problem going to continue? Is the Mueller problem going to continue? Are we going to actually completely dislocate this administration in some way? We're talking about a government that's under siege on a daily basis for lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. Is that ever going to happen? Is that going to dislocate the market? I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if it'll. There are a lot of unknowns still.
But so you know, it's kind of funny because you get the feeling, and everything you say is absolutely correct, right? But you get the feeling that there is still a certain level of fear in this market, even though we're up 5,000 points. That quite a few investors are not invested yet. And
correct, and I think that, look, that's why we're seeing this foundational buildup, is because there are people who are finally giving up the ship on the hope that we're going to actually come in that fear. So they're all hopping on board. I think the world is full of potential investors who've been sitting around, some who've been buying, some missed the boat, some who would like to hop on this train, some who are short, right? You know, the world is full of different investors. There are traders, there are investors, there's whatever. So there's, you know, it's amazing.
There are farmers, there are doctors, there are plumbers. It's like there's everything.
But also, we're seeing that the market can give signs of fragility on headlines. But that net is a short-term effect.
So, you know, Hanukkah is coming to an end. Christmas is, you know, about to happen. So
December traditionally is a great month. You know, we've often seen that when markets are down through the year, we see window dressing that marks the market up. We obviously don't need that this year, but yet again, we're in the second week of December. The market is strong. We're seeing a lot more green than red, and we're seeing markets trading at all-time highs. So we don't need window dressing. I don't think these rallies are window dressing. I think they're fundamentally strong, and I think we're going to end the year at the high.
Well, then I'll say Mazel Tov to you.
Well, I'll say Mazel Tov to you.
And frohe Weihnachten nach Europa. Also guys, you know, Einstein, thank you very much. Und frohe Weihnachten nach Deutschland. Bis dann. Ciao.